let's dive in. Today we're talking about Ashenda, this incredibly vibrant and powerful festival that just blossoms in the highlands of Ethiopia every single year. It's a celebration that really weaves together faith, culture, and the land itself in a beautiful way.
You know, I came across this quote in the source material, and it just hits the nail on the head. Ashenda is joy arranged as public art. I mean, think about that. This isn't just a party. It's a deliberate, beautiful, and very public performance of pure joy. That's the feeling we're stepping into. So, where does the name even come from? Well, it's rooted right in the earth. Ashenda is literally the name of this tall, fragrant grass that shoots up after the rainy season in the Tigray region. Girls go out, gather it, and tie it around their waists. They are literally wearing the promise of renewal and new life. It's just this amazing, direct connection to the turning of the seasons.
Okay, so here's how we're gonna break it all down. First, we'll look at it as a festival of grass. Then, we'll see where devotion meets dance. After that, we'll listen to some of the voices of criticism, explore the whole culture and faith question, and finally, we'll land on what makes Ashenda an unbreakable braid.
All right, first up, a festival of grass. One source calls it a living, breathing choreography of gratitude, and I think that's the perfect way to put it.
You have to understand, the festival doesn't just happen. It begins long before the first drum beat, in these quiet acts of care. Everything is crafted with so much intention. You have cotton being spun into the traditional white dresses, the habesha chemis, with these bright, amazing patterns stitched on. Hair is woven into these incredible braids that are like a language all their own. The whole community gets involved, you know? Tuning drums, rehearsing songs in the cool of the evening.
And then, the morning arrives. I mean, just picture this. Groups of girls and young women start to gather. They're in their crisp white dresses, their braids are shining, and you can hear the whisper of that fresh-cut grass at their waists. They fill the villages, and then you hear it. The sound of the drum calling everyone together. The celebration has officially begun.
But here's the thing. To really get this explosion of joy, you have to understand what comes right before it. This is where devotion meets dance. It's this incredible pivot from a really intense period of religious focus.
And that period is called Filseta. It's a 2-week fast to honor Saint Mary. It's a time of serious spiritual discipline, quiet prayer, and deep reflection. The whole pace of life just slows right down. It's a season defined by its tenderness and devotion.
So you see, Ashenda isn't a break from faith, it's the joyful expression of it. The quiet discipline of Filseta gives way to the dance and song of Ashenda. The prayer and reflection, it blossoms into this huge public celebration full of laughter. The source material had this beautiful line calling Ashenda the blossom on that stem of devotion.
Okay, but like any vibrant living tradition, Ashenda is not without its controversies, and we have to talk about them. So let's listen to the voices of criticism, because this debate is actually central to what the festival is today.
These criticisms, and they're coming mainly from more conservative voices inside the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They really fall into 3 big categories. First, there's a worry about secularization. Is this becoming more about fashion and showing off than about faith? Second, there's a question about pagan roots. Do things like the grass skirt actually point back to pre-Christian harvest rituals? And third, there are moral concerns. Does all this public performance by young women encourage things like immodesty or even commercialism?
So it all boils down to this one central question. Is Ashenda a worldly distraction that kind of waters down the purity of faith, or is it a totally valid cultural expression of that exact same faith? This is the heart of the whole debate. And this debate really shows how the festival is grappling with its identity, not just at home, but on a global stage. And that brings us to its relationship with culture, faith, and, well, its future.
This whole situation raises a universal question, doesn't it? Where do culture and religion meet? This tension isn't unique to Ashenda at all. I mean, think about Carnival in Latin America, or even Christmas in Europe. Communities everywhere are constantly trying to figure out the boundaries between sacred devotion and cultural celebration. Ashenda is just a really fascinating case study in this global conversation.
And the festival is absolutely changing. I mean, it started as this very local seasonal festival in Tigray. Then it grew into a national cultural heritage event, something that government actually promotes. And now it's celebrated all over the world by the diaspora. It's become this powerful way for young people to connect with their Ethiopian identity, even if they're thousands of miles away from home.
And at the absolute center of this whole evolution is the gender dimension. You can't miss this. Ashenda puts girls and young women at the very heart of public celebration. For its defenders, this is deeply empowering, a way to affirm their dignity and their voice. But for some of the critics, that public visibility is the exact problem. They see it as spiritually unfitting or immodest.
So, after exploring the celebration and digging into the controversy, we come to our conclusion: an unbreakable braid. Why is it that despite all these tensions, Ashenda doesn't just endure, it actually thrives?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is that it's not an either-or thing. Ashenda isn't sacred or cultural. It isn't a distraction or an act of devotion. Its real power comes from its incredible ability to be both of those things at the exact same time. The sacred and the cultural aren't fighting each other here, they're woven together.
And this brings us right back to that perfect metaphor, the braid. Ashenda gathers up all these different, scattered pieces of life, the cloth, the hair, the songs, the devotion, the laughter, and it binds them all together into one strong, vibrant, and unbreakable whole.
And that is where its resilience comes from. The debates, the changes, those aren't signs of weaknesses. They're proof that it's a living tradition, one that's strong enough to bend without breaking, to adapt to new generations while never, ever letting go of its core.
So that leaves us with a final thought, a little food for thought. Ashenda's story really invites us to look at our own lives. How do our own traditions, the ones we hold dear, navigate that delicate balance between the sacred and the celebratory, between honoring the past and living fully in the present? It's definitely a question worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.